Come on, double up. Look up, left, right, left, right, come on, double up. Come on, double up. Come on, double up. Double up. Double up. Left, right, left. Okay, so welcome, leader, to our third episode of Finding Purpose in Your Pain. And we'd like you to share your story on how God used your pain to actually usher you into your purpose. So you can start from anywhere. Just give us.
Thanks, Tasha. It's good to see you again.
It's
actually.
great to see you after ages. After 7 years.
After ages, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a story which I speak about it. I tell about it with courage, because it's a story that has changed my life inside out. You know me, I used to be a very jovial person, a very sports person. Yeah. And my job right now, being an immigration officer, a paramilitary organization, I mean, like a department of the government, you need to be healthy, you need to be up your feet. But I made this tragedy, and now I'm in a wheelchair. So actually, it was on the 29th of July, 2016. I was actually on my way back from field. I was on duty, and I was avoiding a head-on collision with an oncoming vehicle. So I was on a motorbike. I wasn't driving my car. I was on a motorbike because of the conditions of where I went to work on that particular day. So I couldn't negotiate the bend which is there, the cave, and I fell into a ditch. And on the spot, I noticed that I could not move my legs and the lower part of my body. So I knew from there that it's too bad for me. So I was rushed to hospital, and the story. I was like, no, this is too bad. Yeah, you're broken your spine, and your spinal cord is not okay. So they moved me from Mchinji District Hospital to Kamuzu Central Hospital on the same day. I stayed about 5 days at Kamuzu Central Hospital. Then I was referred to Queen's Elizabeth Hospital in Blantyre, whereby, lucky enough, I was a C stage. They operated me. They did the surgery and stabilized my back. Then I was referred to Kachi Rehabilitation Center for physiotherapy and rehabilitation, where on the 5th of November, on the same year, I was discharged, wheelchair bound. So it was another story, another life. I think I was 33 by then. It was like halfway in my life. Like it was changed to be something else.
So all this happened from a space of like from July to November, and it happened in July, and then November you were discharged from the hospital. And
yes,
I'm just trying to know, like, how were you, like, what were you thinking? Like, what was crossing your mind? How were you feeling? What was the first thing that came to your mind when they actually told you to say it's really bad, you can never walk?
Actually, it's funny because my wife is the one who used to cry a lot. She's a medical person. She's a nurse. But I could see that there are some tears in her eyes. Then I could see that I think this is worse than I think. But I tried to be strong, because I was even asking myself a question like, if I also start crying, if I also start being disturbed, like it's not going to work for me. But I could see tears in the eyes of my family members. Then I was like asking God, like, why? Why me? Why me now? Okay. Things, the plans which I had, I couldn't see them happening anymore. The expectations I had for life, they were starting to shatter, like to disappear. I was like, please God, don't let it be like this. But the funny thing which happened in the first morning, I came to Central Hospital because we found the rooms were full. So they had to put us in a corridor. So I overheard somebody was praying for some patients in the other rooms. So I was like, anyway, somebody's praying for them. And this guy, after he finished, he passed us like, phew, he went. Then he came back. He came straight to me. He was like, you know what? I think God has got a plan for you. You are supposed to be working for God, but you went away, but God wants you back. You went some your own way. He wants you back. In your family, you used to be a prayerful family, but you guys are no longer praying. But God is going to use you. So I was like, okay, fine. Then I was just with me and my sister. I think my wife had gone outside. My sister looked at me and he was like, okay, I think it shall be well with you. I'm going. He didn't pray for long. He didn't say much thing. Much things. He just said those words and he went away. And this touched me. But because of the trauma which I had, I didn't give much thought. But by the time I was actually at a rehabilitation center, you know, this is the time when I started seeing people like in worse conditions than mine. This is the time I was like trying to get a picture, maybe why God wanted me to be in the condition, in the situation, in the condition I am right now. I was like, there should be a reason why I'm in a wheelchair, why I've lost the function of my legs, why I'm having a lot of questions in my mind. I think definitely very soon I'm going to get answers to the problem which has befallen me.
What keeps you going? Because as human beings, normally when we're going through pain, a lot of people like to shut out or be depressed or sink into the sea of life. You know, it's very easy for somebody who's going through pain to just like give up and say, oh God, you don't exist. Oh, I hate you. You know what? I don't want to keep on fighting. I don't want
Yeah.
to, I'm just gonna feel sorry for myself or whatever option that is there. So what kept you going? What kept you?
I can say that my family members played a very big part, especially my wife. She was there. And, you know, I met a lot of people in the hospital explaining to me that their spouses had left them just because of the conditions they're into. And when I looked at my wife, I was like, she must have a good reason why she's still on my bedside. She's left work, she's taking care of me. And I was like, what else can I give back? Then I asked God, like, God, give me power, give me strength. I need to give back. I need to show that this is not my limit, this is not my end, this is not the level which you want me to be. I need to push some more. I need to go the extra mile. Take me out of this hospital. I want to go back to my normal life. I want to do things which I've never done before. And I know that this is going to be possible just through you and nobody else. So the support which I got, and I wanted to prove to them that I'm not going to be dependent. I want to be independent as they would want me to be in my life. And I looked at my 2-year-old son. He is one of the reasons why it also kept me pushing. I say, it's God. I don't want my son to be something else, like trying to say, okay, my dad could have done this for me. My dad could have been here. My dad could do this. I wanted to create legs people cannot see. I wanted to move places people could not reach, only through my what? Through my mind, and try to do things with my mind and make things happen and bring to the attention of people in the same condition that I am, that we can do better, even in the worst situations we can be, but we can still do better. I remember when Jesus was being tempted by the devil. He reached a point whereby he could have said, okay, I'm giving up. But he was like, no, this is not me. I also remembered David. You know, when Samuel came to anoint him, David was not home. He was in the field feeding feeding the sheep. He was just a small boy. Actually, in my situation, I'm the last born in my family. You know, we are 7. I'm the 7th, right? I'm the smallest. I'm the youngest. I did not want my family to be burdened by my age, my size, and my failures. I wanted to be that person they could look up to, like saying, okay, fine, you are getting old. This young man is coming. He's energetic. He's strong. He's going to take care of us. He's going to take care of the family businesses and everything. My family, it was just a new family. Because this is, I married my wife in 2013, October. And this is 2016. I'm having the accident. It was just too young marriage. And I was like, God, give me strength. So I think God listened to my prayers and he gave me strength in my mind, because the first thing that started to heal on my body, I think it was my mind. My mind was way healed before I was discharged from the hospital, because I could even feel for the next person next to me. I remember I had a very good friend of mine, we still chat by now, Solomon Tengeza, a very good friend of mine from the hospital. We used to crack jokes. We used to talk. We used to share experiences. We used to mock people, like, you know, they feel like if you're bedridden, we're not going to walk. We're going to walk out of this hospital. Actually, in the wheelchair which I'm using right now, I said, I'm gonna have a time whereby I'll take this wheelchair back to Kachela and say, this is the wheelchair which you gave me. Now I don't need it anymore. I don't know what I'll be using by then, but that time is coming when I'm gonna take it back. Maybe I'll buy my own wheelchair. Maybe I'll stand out of and walk out of this wheelchair. But I believe that the very same God who took me out of that hospital is the very same God who is taking me out of this wheelchair, and I'm gonna take it back and give it back.
It's amazing that you're in that situation, you still saw possibilities. Because mostly when we're experiencing pain, the devil will come and attack our minds, you know, making you see that the situation is impossible. And then when you accept to say it's impossible, you'll not be able to move out of that pain. You will not be able to birth purpose out of the pain, because you just be stuck on the impossibilities. But in this case, God just allowed you to see beyond your present situation, to say, these are the possibilities open to you. And the fact that you actually embrace it, to say that the fact that this has happened, but then deep down, you're still the same Andida. You're still the same person. You know, you haven't lost yourself. And then therefore, anything that you dreamt before is actually possible, because you're still there. You're still, because a big part of us is actually in our mind.
Yes, exactly. And I can tell you that I've actually done a lot of things which I never did when I was in the other person. I've done a lot of things, a lot of remarkable things I can be proud of when I'm in a wheelchair. I've reached out to people I've never reached out to when I'm in a wheelchair. Let me take you just a little bit back. About, I think, about 3 months before the accident, my wife told me, like, she gave me an ultimatum. She said, you haven't been going to church for some time. I'm giving you time. If you don't go to church in the next 2 months, I will see what I'm going to do. So, so actually, before 2 weeks before, 2 weeks before the deadline of my ultimatum,
Yeah.
I came from work in my uniform. I was like, okay, fine, guys, you know what? I think we are going to start praying in this house each evening, every evening before we go to bed. And my wife laughed like, are you serious? I said, yes. She was like, so who is going to start? I said, I'm starting. So this is 2 weeks, 2 weeks before my accident. So every day, every evening, we were praying towards the deadline, you know. And on a Thursday, that was 29th, all right, in the second week, that is the day I had the accident, okay? And as I was in the, flying, I said, God, please forgive me. Those are the very good words I remember. And I landed on my back. It was crushed. Then I kept on asking myself a question. What if I didn't start praying? What if my wife did not give me the ultimatum? I don't think I would have been alive by now. So I said, okay, God, maybe this is a ministry you're giving me. I cannot be a good preacher. I cannot be a good evangelist, but I can be somebody you can use to show your people that you still care about them, despite their physical appearance or physical ability. But you look at their inner souls, all right? You look at the person inside. Just like Samuel was told by God, like, don't be deceived by his physical appearance or about his height. But you, man, look at the person in the outside features. I, as God, I look at people in the inside person, in the soul. So I said, God, maybe you can use me in the physical appearance. Outside people will be saying, okay, this guy in a wheelchair is doing this. But in the real sense, I am turning the souls of those people to see the hand of God in them.
Oh, yes.
Please, God, use me. I don't know where I'm going to start, but use me. So as I was like debating within myself, trying to see what is God exactly trying to do with me, that's when the idea of Still I Rise Tingathe came to being. I was like, what am I going to do? I don't get enough money even to support myself and my family. You know, I don't have things which I can share, but God give me wisdom which I can use to get those things and assist these people. I targeted people who had accidents, who actually maybe in that day they had other plans, but at the end of the day they lost everything. They lost maybe even the memory. I want to reach out to these people. I want the world to know that these are equally important as everyone else. So I said, Tingathe, we can still do it. We are rising. Why did I say still I rise? Actually, the motorbike brought me down. The devil brought me down on that day, on the 29th of July. But I rose. People lifted me, right? They lifted me from the ground. And I'm now in a wheelchair. I'm still rising. My mind is working. I'm still rising. I said, okay, fine. Those guys helped me from the ground to the wheelchair. What can I do to lift those who feel they are still on the ground, to be on the same level with me, or maybe to be even above me, beyond me? But this can only be happening if we give ourselves to God first, then we accept, then we say, okay, fine, this is what I can be able to do. So I was like, I'm a farmer. Generally, in my mind, I'm a farmer. I keep pigs, okay? I keep chickens, but then I was keeping even goats. I was like, okay, fine. I think what I can do, I should think of economic empowerment. That's the most important thing, like when in my situation. You need to have the economic muscle, the financial muscle. So I was like, okay, fine. What if I start a program whereby I'll be taking the livestock and share it to my friend? If he keeps those, the livestock, he can be sharing to another friend. Then we keep on empowering ourselves, all right? On the home, like our livelihood at a household level. So this idea kept on growing, and my friends, someone in Kesungu, someone in Lilongwe, someone in Blantyre, they started sharing. Some are here in Mchinji. They started liking the idea. And we said, okay, fine. What do we do about it? Said we have to make this work. Then the Tingathe Still Arise was born.
Wow.
And there are a number of things which we have done as Tingathe. We have sourced some wheelchairs, some financial assistance, and recently it's a program which we just did. We planted trees at Maela Junior Primary School, just to show the nation and the whole globe, that we are physically challenged. Some call us disabled, but we refuse to be called disabled because we are able somewhere, somehow. Our ability is greater than the disability we have. And we can even do things even better than those who think they are not disabled. Okay. So we said, okay, let us set a picture. Let us show the nation. Let us show the world that we can be leaders. We can direct. We can take a step in making things change, maybe in the economic, in the development of the country, in the economic empowerment, in the rehabilitation, even into counseling and psychosocial counseling. We can do that because we are into that thing. And people, they might not know exactly what it feels and how it feels to be in a wheelchair, or maybe to be a person with disabilities. But it has to begin with us. It has to start with us. We are not the material people to look to up to, or maybe to say, okay, come here. It's a project time. We want to launch a certain project. Then they use the people with the disabilities. No, maybe it's about that time when they want to gain political momentum, and they say, okay, we are doing this for people with disabilities. I say, no, we are as equal as each and every person. So we need to be important each and every second, each and every time, each and every moment. But for people to see that, we need to start ourselves. So we organized ourselves with fellow friends with disabilities, and we did that. It was a success. We planted 500 trees. I did on my part. I think I planted more than 12 trees, right? And those trees, they're representing a lot of things in my life. I know I took part. And when we looked at the junior primary school, this Maya primary school, we identified that there is a lack of school blocks. And we said, okay, fine. Maybe God willing, we are going to source funds. We are going to mobilize funds and build a school block. And we identify it as our own project, our own product. And it maybe if things go well, maybe we can turn this school to be a disability user-friendly school, whereby people, children, students with disabilities can come and attain education at this school. Okay, and we make it a center friendly to people with disabilities. So God is speaking, God is talking, and God is taking us to places.
I'm actually speechless because most times things happen and we don't understand why, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
In the pain, we blame God, we ask God why, but then God always finds a way to bring out something great out of even the things that we call a mess, you know. He always is an expert in bringing out something beautiful out of something that we actually think that has died or has been destroyed. So I really thank God for your life and all He's doing in your life. I know that this is only like the beginning of like greater things, because I see you going places. I see you changing the norm. I see you changing the status quo, you know. I see you bringing out newness out of things that people have actually accepted as this is it. Because
Amen.
God, as you say that Tingathe, still I arise, God actually rose you up from the place where you are for you to be a voice of change, for you to actually point to say, okay, all these other people have embraced it, to say that this is the way people like me are taken as, but then I refuse to be seen as that. I refuse to accept that this is all that is there to life. There is more. And I love what you've been doing even on Facebook by advocating to say the government hasn't actually put in policies to think of like
actually that's one one of the areas which I feel personally like we're being left out so much, and I would like to see something happening, and personally I'm going to push for that to happen. The Disability Act is a very small act, a very small book of about 14 pages only, but that is not being implemented. Okay, that is not being implemented. There are so many places where I can't go to. If I go to town, there's a place I love just because there are facilities whereby I can have access to. If I want to go to the restroom, definitely the place I can visit, like in Lilongwe, I can visit Gateway Mall, because I know I'll have access to whatever I want. But the rest of the places, they're inaccessible. Even my own office, it's not disability friendly. All right. I try like to think positive, to to be creative and fit in an environment whereby it is not disability friendly. But I think of the next person who can be in a worse condition than myself. All right. I do drive. My car is not modified to be driven by a person with disabilities. I use a stick, all right? The walking stick. I shorten it. That's the one I use to drive. If you check on the Still Arise Tingathe page and the group, you see me driving.
Wow.
I don't use my feet. I drive places. I go up to Mangoche, I go up to Blantyre. I can even drive to South Africa. I challenge you. I can take you guys to places driving, as long as that vehicle is an automatic. Because I try to fit in, but there are some situations and some conditions whereby fitting in should not be the thing to do. It has to be designed to accommodate each and everyone. Because being a person with a disability, being disabled, being a person with disabilities, it is not something which you are always born with. It is something which you can make along your way, like just the way I did. I was okay, all right? I was the other person. Now I'm like this. I cannot walk. I use a wheelchair. And This is the thing where people, we need to think of the uncertainties in life. God gave us life, but he did not say we are not going to get sick. Okay? He did not say we are not going to die. He did not say we are not going to lose things. He did not say we are not going to be barren. He did not say we are not going to be rich. He gave us life and the power to control that life. So if you are able to do that, let us create the environment whereby human nature, the creation of God, is going to fit in regardless of the condition and the situation.
Because come to think of it, I don't think there's even like a politician who, is there like a minister or an MP who has like a physical challenge for it? Because I feel like sometimes the government overlooks some of these things because they don't have anybody who is in that position to actually tell them to say, this is what we experience. You know, the same way you're advocating because you've actually seen how it is like, and then you're able to actually speak about it. But then because they don't have anybody in that office who has like that to actually challenge them to say, okay, why you're including all these other things, why don't you do this for us as well? So I believe it's something that the Lord is also taking you to. Who knows? Maybe the next election. The next election.
I don't know.
Because we need a voice for change.
I don't have to be a politician. I'd rather be an advocate because the politicians, you know, they easily switch. They easily forget about where they're coming from. They easily forget about who they are.
But with you, it'll be different. Will you forget who you are?
If it's a prophecy, I receive.
Because God works in mysterious ways, so you never know.
Yeah, so he does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Andida, for your time and for sharing your amazing story. I'm so sure a lot of people will be inspired and lives will be transformed as a result of this. I really thank God for your life and all that God has actually done and is still doing in your life. And I believe that this is only the beginning, that you're going to greater heights. And I thank God that he actually led you to your purpose, for you to make a difference, for you to impact lives, for you to bring a change. And I believe that he'll keep on leading you and strengthening you as you go each day. So yeah, I look forward to seeing more what God has in store for you. As I said, God is full of surprises. You never know. Minister Andida Mando, I've already crowned you. I've already crowned you, so yes.